Hi guys, my name is Aubrey Reed and welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for tuning in and I hope you enjoy this next video. This week's video comes all the way from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm filming in my hotel room right now, hopefully before my roommate gets in and thinks that I'm some crazy girl talking to her phone. I'm here through the Zeta Alpha Officer Leadership Academy Conference, and I'm super excited to meet all the fellow Vice President 3's Director of Membership. I can't wait to hear all their ideas, see what they're doing in their schools and what works so that we can make sure we're maintaining our legacy that Zeta Alpha inspires to do, but we're also integrating new girls in, welcoming them in, making sure that we are opening and welcoming our sisterhood to all of those who are interested and willing to be dedicated members of our chapters. This past week was my first week back at school, and man, was it hectic. It was completely crazy, and I just truly didn't know how I was going to maintain everything. I definitely had the goal in mind to, keep posting those one videos a week, and last week it just didn't happen. I definitely need to reorganize, prioritize, reschedule out my days. While I was so used to winter break, having, all this leisure time and things to do, making all these plans, making all these goals like you do at the beginning of the year when you have that little break off. It's definitely getting some readjusting time that I need in order to be my best self and make sure that I am prioritizing and doing everything that I'm setting my mind to and that I plan to do at the beginning of the year. I like to follow through with things, and so I'm hoping that this video will help you maybe maintaining your schedule, maybe figuring out a way to find your path through those busy days that you have, making sure that you're keeping yourself in mind. You're not putting all those that come before you, before yourself and your needs, because you are just as important as the people around you, and you need time too. You can't take care of others the way you're going to need to if you can't take care of yourself. And so that's something that I always struggle with, because I always want to be the helping hand. I always want to be there to be a shoulder to crown and to be the kind of person that pushes you up and helps you get through your times. But the beginning of the year is really important for setting boundaries, setting goals, setting those paths like I talked about in that last video. And so I'm hoping that maintaining your schedule and talking about scheduling and organizing and planning will be beneficial for you now that we're starting back with school. I'm sure I'll do a video about all things Zeta Tau Alpha, all things Zeta Theta, which is our chapter at Arkansas Tech University, all the things that I learned at our Officer Leadership Academy, which is called OLA, here in St. Louis. I'm super excited to reminisce on all these things and all these bonding opportunities that I not only had with my executive council, but with the fellow VP3s and membership chairmen from other Area 3 universities is the section that we're in. And so we actually are getting to a spring recruitment at Tech, and I'm super excited for that. We only are allowed to take 2 girls due to the quota. Arkansas Tech likes to maintain the sororities and fraternities to be at the same levels, just to encourage Greek unity. And so that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to fill quota, which is set by nationals, and we are going to welcome 2 new girls into our sisterhood. I'm so excited about that. We have a lot of good plans, but I'm also hoping to learn so many things here through the other girls, through their turns and their tribulations, through their universities, and the VP3s that have come before them, the ones that have come before me. I'm just hoping it's going to be a melting pot of ideas, and I can't wait to get our creative juices flowing. But back to what this week's video is about. All about planning, scheduling, prioritizing, making sure that when you wake up in the morning, you know what your purpose is. You know what you're going to accomplish that day, and you're going to do everything it takes to make sure that you do get that accomplished without any hesitations, without any reservations for what's going to happen that day. You know that you have a plan, and you're going to stick to it. You're going to follow through no matter what and accomplish those goals that you set for yourself. Because if you can accomplish those goals, the feeling of satisfaction and get guaranteed moment of happiness that you receive whenever you do accomplish that goal is something that you're going to want to keep striving for every day. Depending on how crafty you are, how artsy you are, you might want to get a planner, a factual physical one where you can write in different colored pens. You can do all that. I typically like to do it on my phone. I just find it a lot more convenient, a lot more handy. Use Google Calendars. I have all my different calendars synced. I have my dance team calendar for junior high and for high school, which are the teams I volunteer as their assistant coach and their choreographer. I have my Golden Girls schedules, football, basketball, men's and women's, have all those games in there. I have my Zeta Tau Alpha calendar. I have so many different calendars. I have my family's calendar, which is my younger brother's sporting events that I go to. I truly have so many different events and things and homework assignments even that are on my Google Calendar to try to keep me in order, because if I don't have it written down, if I don't have it scheduled into my planner, if I don't have it etched in my brain that this is when this is due or this is when this is, then I will miss it, because life just passes you by. You get so overwhelmed with what you're doing that you may not know what time it is. I truly look at the clock sometimes and I'm like, where has the day gone? I thought I was doing all these different things. I had all these different plans to accomplish things, but I got got stuck on one different thing and I didn't accomplish what I meant to. And so I hope that maybe we can start talking about planning and scheduling and prioritizing, making sure that you find your purpose for that day. It may be able to help you and me get through this hectic, busy part of the year and get those goals accomplished that you want to. So like I said, writing things down is going to help a lot. If you have the physical implementation of typing it or writing it in your planner, it's going to help you because it's going to be taking that extra time to not say, oh, I need to do this, and just put it in your brain, which, sometimes helps if you have a really good memory. I type in my notes on my phone, my reminders. I can set little schedulers that will let me know and notify me when I need this to be done, the day before it's done, the hour before it's done, whatever it is. Your phone has a lot of different neat contraptions that can help you with that. But again, if that's something that's not interested to you, you don't want to use technology, sometimes it's confusing and sometimes, it doesn't work and it malfunctions, a trusty planner is always going to be helpful. I find it hard for me because I'm going to and from so many times in so many places during the day that carrying a big heavy planner is just kind of difficult for me. My mom does it, and that's how she maintains her busy schedule with all of her kids, with all of her different responsibilities and activities that she's doing. She has it written down. And so I think that I've watched her and watched that, she will, when she needs to do something, she writes it down and she will accomplish it because she wrote it down in her planner. And so I just kind of translated that into a more technological version and doing that on my phone. So I think it's really important, when I wake up in the morning, I say, okay, what is it that I want to accomplish at the end of the day? So today I knew that I wanted to accomplish this video. I knew that I'd been slacking on it. I hadn't been prioritizing it, but I knew it was something I needed to prioritize because it's a goal I set for myself. And so I needed to sit down and do this video. So instead of taking a nap, when I got back to this hotel, I got ready for this video, thought about what I wanted to talk about, and remembered that this is a goal I set. And so I'm going to sit down and do this video. I'm going to sit down and talk to you guys. I'm going to sit down and tell you the struggles that I have with planning and prioritizing and managing and budgeting time for myself. It's just all really hard to do. I'm still figuring it out. All of my sisters are still figuring it out. Getting here this morning, we left Caraway, which is our sorority dorm, at 3:30. We got to Little Rock Airport at 4:30, and we have been going ever since. We don't get started here tonight until 6 p.m., so I knew it would be a perfect opportunity to sit down and make this video. And so that's what I did. I scheduled it that I would, get here, get ready, unpack, get settled, and then I was going to make this video before we had dinner and before I got to meet my roommate and everything got so hectic. I do really struggle with setting time aside for myself. And so, I have all these goals and I have all these things, but sometimes I reflect back on what I'm doing with my day and I realize that there's no time in there for me. There's no time for, Aubrey, you need to do this for yourself because you enjoy it. So something that I'm really passionate about and something that I've tried to put back into my life more recently is reading. And so while I do have required texts that I'm supposed to read for classes, I want to do things that are more for leisure. I want to make sure that I'm leaving time for myself to enjoy simple things in life, and reading is something that I love to do. And so I've taken up reading some young adult books. I've had a goal since I was pretty young. I guess since I was a middle level student, that when I became a teacher, I wanted to have a very good classroom library. Definitely not complete, definitely not full, because I feel like I can always and continuously expand on my classroom library. But I want to collect all these different young adult books that are appropriate for my middle level classroom that I'll be able to share with these students because they're books that I've loved to read and I really enjoyed and that I learned something from and I thought were meaningful and that my students, no matter their age, no matter what they're going through, would be able to resonate with. And so I've been trying to do that. The Ugly series by Scott Westerfeld was one of my favorites when I was younger. And so Dog Ear Books in Russellville, which is a great bookstore and a lovely place to hang out if you ever need a little quiet place to study or you just want to go look for some books, I'd recommend that you go check them out. It's a great place, truly. And that's where I go when I want to look at the new books, see the new bestsellers, whatever it is that I may be looking for. They have it. And so these middle level books, they have a whole section that's for, young adult literature. And that's where I go and I try to find these different things that, I'm interested, but then I'm like, well, maybe let's push my comfort zone. Maybe let's not read something that's in this genre. Maybe let's read something that's in this genre that I might not have wanted to before. But once I open it, I'm like, wow, I really see, where I could resonate with this if I was a middle level student going through this. And so that's what I've tried to do, integrate reading. So I'm going to suggest that you find that one thing. Find that one thing, kind of like I talked about in my very first video. Find that one thing that makes you happy. If it's reading, if it's going on a walk, if it's listening to a podcast, if it's drawing a picture, no matter what it is, there's something that you can find in your life that you can enjoy. And I promise there's a little bit of time in your life for it. I try to read, for leisure. So I like to read science fiction, fantasy, all that kind of stuff. But something that I've also had to make time for, or I will not accomplish these goals. I have to set a time aside for my Bible studies. And so, sometimes the weekends get crazy. I'm going to be out of town this weekend in St. Louis. I'm not going to get back in time for church. And so, I know that you don't have to go to church to have a relationship with God, but that's an important, responsibility and consistency that I have in my life. So I just want to encourage you to try to find those times that you can spend for yourself, whether it's in the Word of God and you're trying to learn and resonate from that, or if it's reading a book, doing something artistic, or going outside and exercising. No matter what it may be, I want you to try to find those little joys that you can find, whether it's just for 15 minutes. If you can just focus on yourself, focus on you internally, focus on relieving any stresses and anxieties that you have, I promise that you'll be able to follow the path that you set for yourself and accomplish those goals to the best of your ability. Of course, we all have days where we get down. We have days where things get too busy and we can't do the things that we say we were going to do. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try your best. And so I promise that if you try to set aside those small little increments of time just for you, just to be there in yourself and, meditate in what's going on in your life and not focus on the ones that are going on around you, and always helping and always doing things for others, you do need to focus on yourself. That's something I'm always trying to learn and cope with, because I always want to be that person that is there for others, but it is important to be there for me. And as I've gotten older and gotten into college, I've learned that me time is something that really, truly is a special place. So with scheduling, reorganizing, reprioritizing, figuring out what outlets you want to use to convey the most positive energy that you can to get through these days, whatever it may be, I just hope that this video is reaching somebody that, needs to hear that. You need to hear that it's okay to say, hey, I'm going to just take a little time to reflect on myself, reflect on what's going on in my life. It's really important that you do that. It's not something that's selfish. You shouldn't view it as you're being self-centered. You need that. Your body needs that. Your mind needs that. Your soul needs that. Everyone needs that to be able to cope with the stresses and the daily pressures of, being a person in this world today. And so thank you so much for tuning in and watching this video. I know it's kind of unconventional, me being in St. Louis, and I can't wait to tell you guys all about it. But I just wanted to give a little bit of advice, and I felt like a pull on my heart was needed to kind of reach out and say, of course schedules get crazy. Mine got so crazy I couldn't even post this video last week. And so now I'm making it in a hotel room in St. Louis. And so there's so many things that come thrown at you at life, but take those chances, take those adventures. Don't be afraid to say yes, but also don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to say no to people and say that I need to take time for myself. I hope that something and some message kind of got out of that to you. I've really enjoyed making these videos, and I really do appreciate the many of you that have tuned in, whether it is on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. I appreciate your subscribes, I appreciate your likes and your comments, and I hope that I'm at least impacting one person out there through these little rambling videos of me. So if you have any ideas for ways I can improve this video, topics we can talk about, any interests that you have about what's going on in my life, or things that interest you in your own life that you'd like me to talk about, I'd love to hear it. So subscribe to my channel if you're interested in watching more videos. Go follow me on Instagram or any of my social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be. I've tried to post these videos on all different outlets so I reach a variety of audiences and we can talk about a variety of different things. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.